so heavy!
What's up, everybody?
What's up? Back again.
Back in the gym.
Back on the grindstone.
Back to the grind with part 3 of 3. This is our album of the year list, top 30. Obviously couldn't fit everything into one video, so we had to break it into 3. And this is top 10.
Right down to the nitty gritty, best out of everything that's out there. And there's just so much good music this year. It was just so hard to make up this top 10. Could even put stuff that was in our top 20 or top 30 any other year could probably be top 10, but it was just such a dense year.
Yeah, this was the most ridiculous year for good music, I think, in the history of me listening to good music. So it's just ridiculous. But I feel like I've carefully honed and crafted this list. It's based on what I like to hear, what my ears like to hear. There's going to be a lot of common themes on this list. I feel like, for me anyways, and I'm really interested to see how these themes, genres, and just styles of metal progress in 2026. Am I going to continue to like this style or these styles of metal, or will it change? Only time will tell.
Oh, wait till next year, or 2020 or 2026 albums of the year.
But yeah, I'm very confident in this list, as I'm sure you are as well in your list. And just a reminder, we have not shared these with each other, so this is a total surprise to us both. And as a disclaimer, if anybody out there digs this music, and you want to check out these bands, we'll put links to their albums in the description. As well as what I was thinking, what we should do and link in the description is put all of our top 30s in one playlist that we could share and make available for anybody.
That's a smart idea.
Yeah. So we will do that and share it as well in the description. And but of course, if you like any of this music, support these bands. Bandcamp, buy their physical vinyl, CDs, tapes, whatever, merch. A lot of these bands are international, so do what you can to support them. Keep this amazing underground music alive.
Go see shows.
Go to shows. Yeah, support the heck out of these bands. But yeah, without further ado, how do you want to further this, dude?
Do you want to do rock, paper, scissors, or do you just want to go?
Let's do rock, paper, scissors, actually. Best 2 out of 3.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Ready? On shoot.
Okay.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Okay, wait.
Ready?
Okay. Rock,
paper, scissors, shoot. Okay, that's 1.
Okay.
1 for James. 1-0.
Okay.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh, shit.
1-1. Rock,
paper, scissors, shoot.
Okay, so then you decide.
Okay. All right. I'll go first.
Okay.
Okay, starting off at number 10. It is Pillars of Cacophony with Paralipomena. I knew when I first heard this album that it was going to be in my top year-end list. And I've listened to it like a few times over like carefully crafting these like top 30 lists for album of the year. And I'm like, yeah, this has to be in my top 10. So if you haven't heard of Pillars of Cacophony before, it's basically a one-man project. The guy is from Austria. His name is Dominic. Don't really know much else other than that, but it's the lyrical content of it is very like intellectual and science based, which is kind of interesting. But it's like a beautiful fusion of intellect and sheer brutality in the music. This guy has like seriously technical prowess with his songwriting. It's super dissonant, but yet it has like Meshuggah like grooves. And it's just so tight and so precise. And, you know, yeah, it's just so crazy. You know, the the science theme behind the whole thing even kind of goes down to his logo, which I believe it comes from oh God, a show. I can't remember it right now, but like
I know what it is too.
Yeah,
Shit.
yeah. But it's like if you like technicality, if you like jazz and progressive influence in your death metal, you know, I'm talking like brain melting technicality, ulcerate level dissonance, and some of the like the craziest, heaviest, you call them breakdowns or just like super heavy parts. The ending of Retina on this album is one of the heaviest fucking breakdowns I think I've ever heard this year. Yeah, it's just so good. An absolute standalone masterclass in the genre.
Absolutely. I looked it up and it's Doctor Who.
Oh yeah, Doctor Who. Yeah.
Yeah, it says
looking that up.
the band's logo is their name spelt out in circular graphein or whatever from the Doctor Who media franchise.
Yeah. Super nerdy.
Super nerdy.
But I actually like he's I think put out a couple other albums prior to this which are worth checking out. But yeah, I've only heard of him through some of like the dissonant death metal Facebook groups. People kept posting this album kind of over and over again, saying that it was like criminally slept on, and it definitely is. But I mean, this style or genre of metal is kind of a difficult listen to begin with. So it's like a subgenre of a subgenre of a subgenre. You know what I mean? So you have to have the ear for it, but you can't deny the sheer technicality and just the awesome, you know, creativity behind the music. So yeah, it's unreal.
Double unreal.
Yeah, you had it in your previous list, I think.
Yeah, I had it at 21 is where I had it. I think it'd be higher. That's what I said before. Yep. I think it'd be higher.
You had mentioned that.
With it.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised, like if you were talking about trends, and I'm definitely going to keep that trend rolling with that album at least for next year. So
awesome.
And this one, and this my band for number 10 actually kind of makes sense with keeping the trend and everything for 2026. Because not to get ahead of ourselves, but this band actually is, I read an article on Metal Injection today, said that they're planning on releasing new music for 2026 already, even though they just had this album down. And it's Deafheaven with Lonely People with Power. So curious to see what happens next year. But at least for this album, like I think this album would probably be on a lot of year-end lists for a lot of people. And kind of surprising in a sense, because like the post black metal community is kind of a niche community to begin with. It's not really like super well known, but yet somehow Deafheaven is kind of, they're like the pioneers of this subgenre and can bring in more people from, I guess, all these communities together and somehow bring it together. Like there's this little shoegazy parts in it. Obviously post metal is a big thing. I think a little bit of metalcore too. It's like you hear a lot of metalcore people and metalcore YouTube channels talking about this album, which kind of surprised me a little bit. But this is for sure the best post black metal album of the year. Like Agriculture put out a good record this year. I guess Veilburner might be in that same realm, kind of. But for like black metal adjacent. But this is, yeah, like I said, the best one. Kind of returned to form for them. They released an album in 2013 that's Sunbather, and like this was the first album that I had heard from them. So then after I heard it was a return to form, I went back and listened to Sunbather. Then that one was very similar to this record, but I think this one is a little bit more polished. But and the thing that I think is going to keep this album like ahead is the fact that it is so accessible with everybody else. Same thing, like I said, with Scour, is like it's bringing people together from other communities, from other subgenres, just expanding the reach in the niche of metal itself. And I think it's just going to create a more enjoyable community. Whereas you're not having the same guys back in the day where it'd be like, I only listen to old school death metal, and like if you don't listen to old school death metal, then fuck you. And you're like kind of pushing each other aside. You're kind of welcoming in everybody and exposing more people. The vocals on this thing is, I think, what definitely make it. Like the instrumentation itself, I'd call it like I wouldn't call it light, but it's kind of got like that new age metalcore.
It's very dreamy and atmospheric.
Yeah. But just the vocals itself are just pure filth, and like just you feel like it's like there's a gas escaping from hell, and it's like you hear the remnants of the gas hissing. It's like, that's gross. So I think that's where like the post black metal comes in. It's not a pure black metal album by any stretch of the imagination. But even like it's, if you can get past the vocals, I think is when you can really kind of strip it down and appreciate it. So I think you just kind of have to dip your toes in the water and give it a try. And then it might be one of those things where you do listen to it and then you come back to it in a year if you don't like it, and then you end up appreciating it more. I think for me and kind of where I'm at my listening journey, that this is a top album easily. So
yeah, super accessible across genre, and I think it has the potential to reach into some of the more easy listening demographics due to its like, so number one, the album art is not at all black metal. So
you would never guess.
It's like interesting in a sense where like you're like intrigued. You're like, what is this? And then, you know, it has kind of like that artsy element to it where I feel like it can appeal to a lot of the art community, like artsy fartsy community people, with like the dreamy atmospheric elements and the shoegaze and, you know, that new age kind of rock vibe, you know, which a lot of it is really just like an ode to like 90s grunge and like alternative rock.
I was gonna say, like, the community kind of reminds me of that back in the day where it's like you needed something to rally behind when you wanted to kind of fight against the man in a sense. And this seems to be where things are going in terms of the genre that people kind of hide behind, or not hide behind, but fight with, I guess.
Yeah.
When they're going forward. So
yeah, no, it's a sick album. Sure.
So yeah, that's my number 10.
Sweet. Number 9 for me is the incredible one-man project from Australia, Mr. Charlie Park, Cave Sermon with Fragile Wings.
Nice.
So Divine Laughter, his previous album, was a masterpiece, in my opinion, in terms of like post-metal, sludge. And it's just like, it was such just a beautiful record. And this one, I feel like it kind of steps forward from that. Like it's a really good progression from the previous album. It's not as pummeling or heavy. It's still heavy, but it's not as like just punchy.
Mm-hmm.
It's more immersive and dynamic. And yeah, it's still a post-metal album. There's harsh vocals, but it's more melodic, I feel like. It's very multi-layered, and it has a lot of that raw aggression. And I feel like this is another album that I think it like kind of dropped out of nowhere.
Yeah, there was no like promotions or anything of it. It was just like, boom, here's another album.
Yeah. I like following Brendan Sloan from Convulsing, because he always has really great music, underground, avant-garde, or black metal, or whatever, noise rock recommendations. And of course, like most of the guys are from Australia or New Zealand or whatever, but he's been pumping Charlie Park from Cave Sermon's tires for a long time. And he I just like saw it on his Facebook page. He's just like, oh, this just dropped out of nowhere, and holy fuck, it's amazing, kind of thing. So yeah, and it is. At first I was like, this is definitely a lighter take on the previous album, but it's like a creative next step, and I feel like it's an album that grows on you, and it's you have to listen to the entire body of work, right, from front to back. Like, it's emotionally engaging, where it draws you in, and it feels like you can't really let it go once you start. It still has a lot of that raw feeling and aggression, and it's unpredictable in a way. You don't really know what to expect from track to track. So yeah, I feel like it's a project that the Cave Sermon is a project that is so slept on, but in the underground metal community, I feel like the people that know Cave Sermon, they're like, this kid is an absolute genius.
Just a menace.
Similar to other standout one-man acts, especially this year. It's just been, like Light Dweller and
Pillars.
Pillars of Cacophony, like I just mentioned. And it's just like so cool and so creative for one person to craft this sound. It's like, my God,
And the
what do
one
you
thing I
do?
noticed
Just
too
spend it
is
every day.
like he pulled all of his stuff off of Spotify too. So
Yeah,
now he's strictly on
Bandcamp.
Bandcamp.
Yeah,
So if you want to go check out that stuff, then go on
yeah,
Bandcamp.
yeah, and buy the album. It's definitely worth it. And then you have it forever, and you can stream it. Like Bandcamp, they'll let you stream something only so many times before you are um, expected to pay for it. But sometimes you can buy this stuff for like $5, and then you have it forever. Um, and you can sleep at night knowing that at least these guys are, making something. Um, but yeah, phenomenal release this year.
Mm-hmm. Great pick.
Mm-hmm.
And like the one thing that too of that album is kind of going back to Divine Laughter was that like this album I felt was more atmospheric. Like it used a lot more synths, a lot more like
Yeah,
non-traditional elements to the music, and kind of made it feel like more like environmental in a sense. It wasn't
yeah.
so instrumental focused. So that's what
It
I
was
really
more,
liked about that album.
yeah, it was like more of like a prog post metal project.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's amazing.
Great. Yeah. Solid. Okay. My number 9. We're, this is a nice little local Canadian band from Montreal. You might heard of them. They're called Cryptopsy. Put out an album called An Insatiable Violence. And this one, it feels like they're turning back the clock a little bit with this album. It seems like, well, so many bands are doing it, and I don't know what's been in the water this past year, but guys just seem to be, and bands seem to be just putting out like the best music in their lives. Like they released As Gamora Burns in 2023, and that one was arguably one of their best, like before
Amazing.
the None So Vile days. So it's like, how in the hell do you follow that one up? And then now it's just they come out with this one, and I'd say it's either equal to, or if not better than that one, because this one is, if there was a definition for all killer no filler, it would be this one. It is insane chaos. It feels like throughout the entire album you're in like a beehive. There's just bees, there's everything flying around you, there's so much going on, you can't escape it.
Metal swarm.
It makes your hair stand on end the whole time. It's something. Like the guitars are still rhythmically interesting through all the brutality, which like still features their kind of grindy leads that Cryptopsy is known for. Matt's vocal performances, he still has his shrieks and his shriels, and kind of matches that same intensity with the guitars, and it just creates like a melting pot of chaos. Flo is still doing his thing on the drums, like beating the shit out of them probably when he was 20 years old, and just again rolling back the clock. But the one thing I noticed, even as a difference between Gamora and this album, was I think over the last couple of years, their one bassist, I think his name is Olivier or something, he flipped over from Cattle Decap, now full-time to Cryptopsy. And I think that kind of grindiness sound that he brought from Cattle was kind of seeping through here in this album, because I noticed it was a little bit more grindy than normal than what Gamora was.
Yeah.
So I think that
Unhinged.
like him spending more time with the band and everything definitely helped everybody from the start. And then it's just like the one thing that they're so good at is fitting everything in a short time. This album, I think, is 35 minutes or something like that. So it's get in, get out. You know what you're in for when you press play, and it's simply amazing. And I think it's just, if you're someone who's got a death wish and you want something that's fast and fun and furious, and I say check out this one. These guys are obviously not slowing down anytime soon, so I'll be curious to see what happens.
Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah.
Sick. Number 8. All right, so this one was another bit of a surprise for me. Just I wasn't expecting them to drop another album, but probably one of the most punishing extreme metal releases of my lifetime so far that I think I've ever heard. It is a dark psychological journey that sucks you into a black hole and has an atmosphere of like torment and just bleak intensity, and that is the new Defacement album, Doomed. Just the cover art alone, it's like the side of a mountain, but you feel like you're being crushed under the weight of that mountain when you're listening to this. And it's so captivating. You feel like you are physically being sucked in. But yet, it also feels like you are not part of this world when you're listening to it. It feels like you're in a dream state almost. But that dream state is it's kind of like a nightmare. So
that makes sense.
Yeah. So the cool thing is I listened to a recent podcast with these guys. There's a podcast on YouTube called Riff Worship, and these guys were on there. Super interesting. I didn't realize that, some of the members, they're split up, in different countries and stuff like that. And I think a couple of the guys live, like the vocalists, or I guess it'd be the two guitarists who also do vocals. I'm pretty sure they all do vocals. They live in like Amsterdam, and then one guy lives, I don't know where, in the States or something, and one guy, but they're all from like North Africa or something like that.
Weird.
Really interesting. But these guys, their backgrounds all come from like listening to like pure old school death metal, and mathcore. And it sounds like, I'm hoping it comes out in 2026, but it sounds like these guys also have a crazy mathcore project coming out. And they're talking about how mathcore was a huge influence in this album. Just in the writing and like pushing the boundaries on like the song structures and stuff like that. And if they come out with a project that's like a mathcore screamo type thing in 2026, I think it's going to be pretty crazy. But yeah, some of the most insane guitar work. You can watch like some guitar, like if you follow them on Instagram and stuff like that, and just watching them play is it's pretty hypnotic. But I believe this album was also like mastered or engineered by Brendan Sloan from Convulsing. He had a hand in it, which
Mm.
contributes to the tone and sound and everything. But this album is like, for me, I this year has been like a huge journey or foray into dissonant death metal, black metal, atmospheric metal, just like, suffocating dark psychological music for some reason. I don't know if it's just a reflection of the world and everything that's going on in the world, but I just find it fascinating. And this album is yeah, it's just like super compelling for me. Um, so many people are praising this as like one of their top albums of the year. But yeah, it's crazy. Like, they dropped their album Duality last year, which had one of the most gnarly album covers I've ever seen. It's like the dude with half his head blown off, and it's just his
Mhm.
jaw. Um,
Literally
and then
taking their band name literally.
yeah, literally Defacement. But yeah, I don't really know what else to say other than, it's an extremely intense and eerie and chaotic and dense and haunting and, nightmarish album. But it's brutal and it's dissonant and it's ambitious and it's creative and it's interesting, and um it, they the atmosphere and the ambiance and like all of that feeling, it it kind of like it's there in lieu of like catchy hooks or traditional death metal song structure. You know what I mean? So it makes it really kind of interesting and intense.
Because it's
Um,
like in the eye of the beholder, essentially.
yeah.
Because with them just putting in like, well, not it's not background noise because it does serve a purpose, but it's just
Mhm.
basically you hear what you want to hear during that time. It's
Yeah.
just it's not, yeah, it's not musically structured or anything like that. So that
Like
might add a little extra eeriness to the overall feeling
y-
that you get.
yeah, and there's so many layers that it's a listen where you you know when you come back to it again and again, you hear different things in it every single time. Um, and it has the ability to kind of get its hooks in you, and yeah, but it doesn't let up. Like, it's absolutely just brutal from start to finish.
Hmm.
But yeah, super talented musicians. um I'm really, really excited to like keep following these guys, because it sounds like their interest in the mathcore genre has been seriously reignited. And so I'm excited to like follow them and see what they come up with next. But they pump out a lot of tunes, man, like a lot of music. If you listen to them talk about how they write, they talk about like, they don't talk about like writing riffs. It's not like, it's like they're composing. They talk about how they wake up in the morning and they pick up the guitar and they compose, they play, and then they compose. So it's like they're on a totally different level, like
Hmm.
totally different level in the way that they think about writing metal music. Um, and all of the guys in the band are so just like in sync with each other, even though they're like kind of separated across countries and stuff like that, which is super cool. They're all just like, yeah, it's like the perfect lineup. Like, they're all just like, yeah, it's like a hive mind. So pretty cool. I'm excited.
That if they make a mouthcore album, then that's what's going to be like how you said last episode, where Lane from Danza is going to join forces with Phil. Like that's what it's going to sound like. It's going to sound like the most intense mathcore, blackened mathcore you've ever heard.
Well, like I feel like it's such an interesting, because there's a lot of bands that they have maybe started out in like a mathcore band, like War from a Harlot's Mouth. The drummer, the guitarist, they started Nightmare, which is like one of the most brutal, dissonant death metal projects out right now. Just they're putting out an EP in 2026. I wish it was a full length, but I'll get what I can,
Yo,
beggars can't be choosers, right?
I guess
But
not.
but like that's a good example how they have transitioned their interest in kind of like that technical playing, song structure, odd time signature, and it's just like evolved and matured into playing more death metal. And so like Distal Death is interesting to me because I come from like kind of the same wave of listening experience, MySpace mathcore days, math grind and like all that kind of crazy shit, like early See You Next Tuesday and War from a Harlot's Mouth and stuff like that. And then, so that's why I think this style of death metal is so interesting for me, because it gives me the same feels that I had back then when I was listening to this weird, chaotic, crazy shit. So what I'm getting at is like, it sounds like these guys had a little bit of experience with that genre, but didn't really like it. They kind of grew up listening and playing black metal. And now they're going back and they're listening to stuff like The Number 12 Looks Like You and Gaza and Cult Leader and, shit like that. And it's like, if you are this proficient technically at playing music and you're putting out dissonant technical death metal like this, how is your brand new or recent introduction to mathcore going to influence your sound moving forward? It's only going to be more insane. So that's why I'm like really excited.
It's just going to be I don't even think words are going to be able to describe what that's going to be like. He's going to have to listen to it and just let it happen.
Yeah, it's just exciting for the genre. But
2026, it's going to be nasty.
Defacement, yeah,
absolutely.
And get your face defaced.
That's how you know what's good. If you have no face after you've done listening to an album.
Yeah.
Okay, my number 8. I don't think I need to spend much time on it because you mentioned this at your number 9, and it's Cave Sermon with Fragile Wings. So I guess I won't, I don't need to divulge too much in it, but just the things that I really kind of took away from this album was I did like the shorter track lengths. Like they were kind of anywhere from 6 to 8 minutes instead of like 8 to 10. I know that doesn't make a difference or shouldn't make a difference, but for some reason it makes it easier to listen. It's really weird. But it makes it like a more compressed listening experience, I feel like, especially when you add lots of atmosphere and stuff, and you kind of playing or you're dancing a tricky dance there and making sure like, okay, you want to keep the listener engaged, but then you want to add atmosphere to change stuff up, and it's like, okay, where do you draw that line? Where I think when you make the sacrifice with the shorter song lengths, then kind of does the best for both worlds. I think this one is definitely like this album is more whimsical and playful than what Divine Laughter was as well. But it's still everything still feels professional in the sense it's just kind of a new feeling. Maybe he was in a different mindset, or he was relating to different experiences when he was writing this album. Maybe in a better mood, who knows? But it definitely felt kind of more uplifting in that sense. But then yet there was still a lot of moments in that album that were fairly dense, but he does it in such a way that it feels weightless. It's kind of strange, where it's like you kind of have like you're like on a cloud of lead. Doesn't make sense, but it, like, if you listen to it and you can kind of get it. But like, I think it's just, I haven't seen this album on very many year-end lists. I think it should be on many more year-end lists. So
Yeah.
I think just, yeah, shout out from the rooftops, and just another one-man project that needs some more love. So go check out Cave Sermon.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Shit. Okay. Number 7.
Number 7.
Alrighty. So this is probably the most like unlistenable album ever. It is like the anti melody, anti groove, just pure suffocating. It's a spectacle of human suffering in a churning motion where every track blends together seamlessly into one giant song, essentially, and is probably one of the most difficult metal listens that has ever graced my ears. And I felt, I don't know, I felt sad after. I felt like very unsettled after. But yet I kept coming back to it. And that is the new Noise Trail Immersion album. It's called Tutta la morte in un solo punto. Which is Italian for all death in a single point, or all death in one spot. The album cover says it all. It's essentially like a baby's head, on top of like a cityscape. And it's like crying out for something. And it is a chaotic representation of where we are in the world right now. This is a band that started out as a mathcore band. Their first album, which you can't find on Spotify, you can only find on Bandcamp. But it is the closest thing that I've found to Solace era Ion Dissonance. So if you like that absolute just chaos, then listen to their first album. As they got more like as they got older, more mature, they started veering more into like the blackened hardcore side of things, with every album getting more and more blackened. Basically a combination of black metal and hardcore. And then things started getting very dark when they introduced more of like the ulcerate or Krallis style dissonance. This album is basically all dissonance, dueling guitars. It's like if the guys in Ulcerate decided just to shred for, you know, I don't know, 40 minutes long. Like, just it's there's barely any structure to it. It's just a barrage. But as unsettling and suffocating as it is, it's meant to be like that. It's not meant to be like a riff record, or it's not meant to be like a technical showcase. It's meant to be like an experience. And in this album, they're fully committing to atmosphere. They're fully committing to tension, to making you feel very unsettled and make you feel like this emotional weight. It gives me a similar vibe in terms of its like technical restraint in a way to the band Fanti-Faxath. Fanti-Faxath is a little bit more like atonal. These guys there's dueling guitars that are both playing like mathy, dissonant type riffs. I don't even want to call them riffs. It's just chaos. Yeah. But I think this album is meant to be like an A-side, B-side. As you get like their final track is a little bit more structured feeling. But it kind of, the way it finishes, it's like, holy fuck, like that was like emotional and like brutal and sad, you know. It's kind of the way it makes you feel. It's very heavy. But I was reading a comment and somebody said this album is way heavier when it's done, when it's finished, than it is while you're listening to it.
Interesting.
So the feelings that you get listening to it, they stay with you a lot longer after you're done listening to it, which is, I think, what they were trying to come across, like with their statement with this album. I don't know how they're going to follow it up. But yeah, it's a scraping of the nerves, this album.
They'll just release an album that's 40 minutes long of just TV static. That's the only that's the only way that you can make it more dissonant.
Yeah. It's really good though. And again, when you go back and you listen to it, like listening to it again, you pick up on a lot of like really crazy nuances, and it's something that's very immersive. So you pick up on different things every single time, keeps it really interesting. Yeah, I want to buy this one on vinyl. I'd like to get the artwork of it. I don't know where I'd put it, but it's it's pretty crazy. Everything this band has put out, I like their last album, Curia, is one of the craziest things I've ever listened to in my life. And then this album was just like super intense. So yeah, if you're into disso, death, mathcore, blackened, hardcore, black metal,
just black.
Just check it out. Yeah,
just black. You put it on your nightstand when you go to bed every night. Then you can be looking at that baby.
Yeah,
giving you nightmares.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It is a nightmare. It's an auditory nightmare, I would say,
in the most polite way possible.
Yeah, best way possible.
Yep. Okay, my number 7 is not as scary as that one. It's definitely got some stank to it, but definitely not on the blackened side. I'd call these guys probably progressive brutal death metal, and it's a 3-piece band from Australia called Deliquesce, and
Oh.
their album Savior and Enslaver. Now, this one is, when I heard of these guys, I think I discovered them like in May or June of this year. So then I was just getting into their EP and their full length that they released in 23. Just before that, they dropped this album. So I kind of had a little bit of anticipation going on ahead of time. And as soon as July hit, when it dropped, and I'm like, this is one of the best brutal death metal albums I think I've heard in a long time. Like the reason why I love it is it's like Defeated Sanity in terms of how complicated they are with their sound and their brutality, but it's off kilter, like it's off timed a lot. And I don't know if these guys are classically trained. I don't know like if they're just, you know, throwing shit together and seeing what sticks.
Savages.
But it sounds amazing. It's groovy as hell because you can't predict what's happening at any point during this album. They'll be doing a breakdown for like 8 bars or 4 bars or something, and then they'll switch it up, and then they're like taking the steering wheel and like throwing you off the highway, and you're like, why did you just do that? I was just getting used to the road. And it's just like you don't know what's happening. But in the same time, because it's more progressive, it feels more mature. It doesn't feel like a childish or a brutal death metal record that it sounds like the rest and it's going to go through one ear and out the other. Like this is something that sticks. Yeah, like I said before, if you're a fan of kind of Defeated Sanity, maybe post 2000s Gorguts, would you kind of like that, but it's way heavier in my opinion than what Gorguts is or are. Another country band or country mate band that kind of sounds like that would also be Disentomb. I know some of the members of this band actually play in Disentomb.
Oh shit!
It's just not as Disentomb doesn't have the technicality in terms of the song structure the same way, but the tone is very, very similar. But I think it's just the more you listen to it, the more engrossed that you get. And it's just because of all the pace changes and the riffs and then the vocals too. They're not tolerable vocals, but they are pretty low, and they just add that punch that you need. It just makes it such an infectious listen. And like I could listen to this album 10 times over and not be sick of it because it's just it's tossing you like you're in a washing machine. You just are you're twirling around, having the time of your life. But yeah, I think this is definitely a slept on band and a slept on album. So
yeah, I remember listening to that for the monthly album listens, and I thought that album was pretty dope as well. A lot of really great like technical brutal death this year, which has been really cool. It's
just been the whole year. The whole year has just been like,
it's just been a year. It's been a year.
You can't help but just smile. It's just awesome.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna brighten things up here a little bit with my number 6, and this is you had mentioned this band previously, I think in the previous video, and it's Fallujah with Xenotaph.
Nice.
And I had to put this in my top 10 because it's just such an incredible album. No one sounds like Fallujah. They're in a league of their own. They have their own sound. The guitarist Scott Carstairs is an absolute like genius. if you want to go down the rabbit hole, follow him on Instagram. Just watch his guitar playthroughs of shit. He's very like he uses the whammy a lot. But so awesome. And even like seeing them live, it was just such an experience. This album, it feels like you're in like a ambient dream or something like that. There's a lot of like lush lead guitar work and bassy themes and ambience and emotional weight to this album. It feels very like cinematic in a way, which I feel like is different from their previous albums. Like they've always been like, you can always tell Fallujah album, just with their guitar playing and vocals and stuff like that. This is a little bit more, it's more beautiful and fluid and expressive in its sound, less about like just straight up shredding for the sake of shredding. It's cleaner. I feel like this has the best production that Fallujah's ever had. The pacing is a lot better. The melodies are just phenomenal in this album. And I feel like the vocalist is a lot more confident in his abilities on this album. Like, he needs to get more credit, I feel like, for being just one of the best modern death metal vocalists like of our time, because he has such a range and dynamic that like you just can't, even live. Like I like seeing them was like, he's so relaxed and like comfortable. It's like no stress for him, he just flows seamlessly through like the most brutal, harsh, progressive death metal vocals, and then just like screeching highs, and then beautiful cleans. Like there's not
It's
many.
like he's sitting on his couch. He's just like legs crossed, smoking a cigar, just having a time.
Yeah, it's like carefree for him. And then seeing them, seeing Demon King and Grey Lotus going up to the merch booth before the show and checking out the Grey Lotus merch. And I was like, hey, I think that's the vocalist from Fallujah. He's just selling merch. And he's like just touring with them. So I went up to him and I was like, dude, you guys are about to drop like a really highly anticipated record with Fallujah. Like, how are you here right now touring with Grey Lotus? And he was like, oh, something happened with the vocalist, whatever, I'm filling in. And watching him do vocals live for that band was insane. Like just flawless. And it's just like, okay, we are not worthy. Like, so good. But the one great thing about him as a vocalist is like, he doesn't fall victim to these like vocal Olympic tropes that a lot of other vocalists are praised for in the industry, like in the genre. Like your Will Ramos is obviously, the dude is a beast, but like enough with the fucking burping and the gargling and the 10-minute long breakdowns where it's like, fucking halftime, and it's like, it's all about the vocalist. Like the one thing I love about Kyle from Fallujah is how he is a beast and he doesn't need to do any of that gimmicky shit.
He knows he's good.
Yeah. This album, it's probably the pinnacle, I would say, of their sound. I feel like they have this like cohesion now, and they found their sound. It's amazing. front to
and
back,
simple.
front to back. Beautiful, beautiful album. And I feel like it's also a very accessible album for a lot of people. Like you can put this on in the car, you know, you can put this on with the wife, and you know, it's not going to be like scary, or like, you know, it's an approachable technical death metal album
Mm-hmm.
because of its like you know, a lot of the ambience and guitar work and all that
The
kind of stuff.
cleans help too.
Yeah, the cleans help for sure. Yeah, it's amazing. Cannot like I'm to be honest, I'm not like a huge clean singing guy in death metal, but like I don't care what anybody says, like Fallujah, fucking, you know, keep singing, baby. You fucking amazing.
You do what you want to do. You
Yeah,
just
yeah.
you get a free pass.
Yeah, I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah. Hell of a pick.
Yeah, sweet.
Okay, my number 6, kind of going on the same themes with you. Really family friendly, you know, can kind of play it anywhere, kind of accessible. It's Primitive Man with Observance. The most radio accessible band that there is on this list.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, but anyways, these guys are regarded, I think, as like one of the heaviest bands on the planet. If you're looking that up, bar none, they are. So like if you're wanting the most soul crushing, the most dense album, like that you are wanting to listen to, like the perfect fall winter album, like just know that you've been warned from the second you press play with this thing, because it'll be like, you want to double down on your seasonal depression, like just throw this on and you'll be more depressed than you were when you first started it. Like it's just, if that's how you are, then you've listened to it well. Like it's perfect. It's just, in my opinion, it's the darkest album that Primitive Man have put out by far. It's just the whole time you're feeling like you're chained in a lightless cave with like no chance of survival, and it's just like you're dying a slow and painful death, and you have like the long drawn out bellows and like everything, and it's just crying for help. It feels as if like the guitars and the bass is just refuses to take time into any account. Like it's just, they'll play the same thing for like 30 seconds and it's just one or two notes just stagnant throughout the whole time, and you're just basking in this disgusting swamp of shit. I don't even know how else to describe it. It's just, it's really fitting that this album was released on Halloween too, because it's the creepiest thing. Like if I had this album on my doorstep, I'd shit bricks.
Yeah.
So I think it's the one thing with this album, and I think even just with expectations going into it, is that you should not be expecting something with an uplifting atmosphere. You should not be expecting something with huge guitar solos or great song structure or crisp and clear vocal performances. It's just the beauty of this album, and the reason why I think it is a top album of the year is because it has the ability to induce so much fear. And if that's something where you can extract from a listener, then you've done something extremely well, because to do it without sounding gimmicky or something else is not an easy thing to do. But at the same time, it's not supposed to be for everybody, because if it was, then it would be a chart topper on like pop America or whatever else. It's just, it's meant for the people who know the scene and know the music and can appreciate it for the ambiance and the sound that it can create. Then it's meant for you. if you can compare it at all. I know there's a band called Choir. I believe they're from Singapore.
Yeah,
They put out
suffocating.
they put out a release in January this year, and they have that same dark and brutal atmosphere. Portal kind of does the same thing, except Portal's more grindy and stuff, whereas
Yeah.
Primitive Man's more doom
Mhm.
laced. So it's just more so the atmosphere that's kind of similar in the darkness. But if you need some slamly sludge to, coat your ears and, not getting it off anytime soon, then check out Primitive Man.
Yeah. It's like a boulder being dropped in your head, that album.
Mm-hmm. Just
It's scary. Scary.
You become retarded when you listen to it. That's how heavy it is. Carving a hole in your head, and worms are eating inside of it.
It's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of that, this album is also just a great all-around family fun, friendly Christmas album. Gather around the tree, unwrap presents,
hold hands, sing Kumbaya.
Yeah, hold hands, sing your Christmas hymns, and that is the new Putridity album called Morbid Ataraxia.
Great, and make sure you have that album cover wrapped up too, and you give it to Grandma, because she would she would love that.
Yeah, she'd be like, "What is this?" It is brutal in every sense of the word. Probably this is the heaviest brutal death album of the year, hands down. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. This is like all killer, no filler. Some of the like funniest samples as well throughout this album. And I just love everything about it. The sheer brutality, the rawness of the sound. The drums sound like they are mechanical, but they're going to fall apart. He's hitting them so hard, it sounds like they're going to fall apart. But
it probably did.
I just love the way that the drums sound. They're so like just nasty. It's like, I don't know if it's the way they're mic'd or whatever, but they just sound raw. Like, fuck. It is savage. The riffs are brutal. It is uncompromising. It's dense, but it's also clear in the way that it's recorded. It has like the classic brutal death vibe, like the early 2000s brutal death, but with a little bit more modern production. Still sounds super raw. If you like this band, if you like Putridity, then you'll love this. If not, this will not convert you by any means.
This is officially the litmus test. This album is just the gold standard when it comes to brutal death.
You know that meme? I can't remember like what movie it's from, but it's a clip, and it's like playing my music when my girl. It's like the dude is driving and his like girl is in the passenger seat, and it's like when she says that she likes my music or whatever, she said that she
when you're dating like a listens to everything girl or something, and and then you play the actual everything, and then like he's driving and then turns
play this album,
she's like crying.
This album is absolutely like, it takes all the best parts of like slam and everything, but it just like it hits hard. It doesn't stop. It just crazy guitars, crazy tremolo picking, very few breathers in this album at all. But it just you don't like most brutal death albums for me, especially the ones that sound like really polished and stuff. They kind of just everything just kind of blends together as one big song, and nothing is really like indistinguishable. But this album is kind of like an exception in a way to that. Like it's, I don't know, the best brutal death album I've heard all year. So, and these guys are from Italy, so give it up for Italy this year. Just
absolutely
fucking insane. Yeah,
Controlled Chaos is what that album was.
Yeah,
simply awesome.
Yeah, I love this. The other day, I was like running through my albums and albums of the year and stuff, and I did the car test, and I threw this album on, and I was like driving down Henderson, and I was parked at like pretty close to our office here, and I was at the red light at the stoplight, and there was a car beside me, and I just had this full blast, and I look over, and people are just like what the fuck are you listening to?
Who is this man possessed by?
Yeah. But
I also love like those memes where it's like me driving to work. It's like a dude in a suit, and like he's like 10 and 2 on the steering wheel, just completely straight faced. And then you're listening to like Putridity or something. You're just as calm as you could be, and then not a care in the world. It's just it's calming. It's relaxing.
Yeah, this is oddly calming for me. This album, this type of music in general, but this album is oddly calming. Like I feel like I listen to so much, avant-garde, dissonant death metal, black metal, progressive, music that's like really difficult, and you listen to an album and you're just like, oh, shit, like I can't, I don't think I can listen to another dance album like that today. I have to like wait until tomorrow. You throw on Putridity, you throw on like shit like this, and it's just, it's like therapeutic in a way. It's like calming.
You're in your water chamber when you're floating in the water. It's like, let's put on Putridity around.
Can you play Morbid Ataraxia by Putridity, please?
I want to fall asleep here quickly.
Yeah.
Oh, this album deep in the weeds.
The one thing I would say about this album, like for a brutal death album, these guys are playing the fuck out of their instruments. And like the way that it's recorded, you can hear everything very precisely. And you just listen to it and you're like, my God, these guys are tight, like super locked in, super tight, super precise, like just phenomenal musicians. That's all I can say. It is. Yeah, it's brutal. It's brutal, but it's unreal.
Heavenly brutal. Love it.
Brutally heavy. Oh yeah. Before you begin, I just got to grab a drink here.
Yeah, sounds good.
Pause. And we're back.
Okay, and we're back. Okay. So my number 5 is a band that you have already mentioned once before, and it is Dormant Ordeal, Tooth and Nail. Polish 2-piece black and death metal band, and I think these guys are probably one of the more underrated black and death metal bands right now in the scene. I have not seen them very often on the forums. Like kind of when they first came out, maybe a little bit, but it hasn't been sustained, which is kind of weird because this is amazing. Like they sound like a combination of kind of the early Behemoth, with like those dissonant and grindy leads. And then Ulcerate kind of does that same thing, like not as slow, obviously, as what Ulcerate does, but kind of that same atmospheric tone that they like to replicate.
They create their atmosphere with the dissonance.
Yep, which is cool. Such a sick way to do it.
Right.
I jumped in when you said it. Used to be a one man group, then jumped to a 2-piece, and then before this album, the original member who brought on the second member actually ended up kicking the original member out and brought in his own guy. So then now this is the first album where it was a 2-piece band of none of whom the members were the original or had formed the band. So, and then ironically, they dropped probably the best album that this band has done thus far. So kind of weird. The reason why I think this one made my top 5 is because there's like some beautiful juxtaposition between the vocals, what sound like they've been bellowing out from like the depths of a European cave. But then like you have the atmospheric guitars, but then that kind of sound like there's hope and no hope at the same time. Like it's got like some, I don't know, I wish I knew music theory, but it has like the dissonant yet uplifting feeling at the same time. But at this, like, it's just basically whatever mood that you're in, it kind of just fits whatever. Like if you're feeling pissed off, then it's got the pissed off qualities. If you're feeling happy, then it's got the happy qualities. Like it's just it's appealing to everything here. So I think if you need an album to kind of let off your steam and to have that intensity, then it's one you should definitely listen to. I don't think that I would call it technical by any stretch of the imagination, but they kind of make up for that technicality in like ferocity and with their intensity. That's something that does not waver at all throughout the whole album. So it's just one of those where it's feeling like your head's being bashed in all the time, and it's just there's no escape possible. So I think, yeah, you got a chance to check out, want to check out another Polish band, then check out Dormant Ordeal, man.
Oh yeah, I feel like with Dormant Ordeal, I was thinking about this earlier today. Like people who like mellow death, I would really appreciate this album.
I think so too. Like it kind of has like those same kind of upbeat leads and kind of grindy in some spots. Yeah. But it's just it's the same. Imagine that just for the whole song. Like there's no pre-chorus and choruses when like kind of with mellow death. Yeah. So it's just kind of stripping it down to bare bones and taking all the essentials.
Sick. All right. Number 4. Ooh, we're getting down to the wire here.
Oh, and there's some albums that I'm curious to see if you throw them in. Yeah.
Well, now we're going to the island of New Zealand.
Ooh.
With Blindfolded and Led to the Woods, with the hardest thing about being God is that no one believes me. I've always loved this band since day one. You know, for me, they marry my two favorite things: death metal and mathcore. That's it, plain and simple. But this album is claustrophobic. It's suffocating. It's like kind of ritualistic in its sound. There's a lot of dissonance. But there's also a lot of, jagged chords and, uneasy like intervals in the guitar playing and riffs that feel more like pressure building than hooks. It has a lot of tension throughout the album, both like lyrically and musically as well. I read a review or somebody posted like a comment, and it said, "This album feels like I'm being trapped inside of a collapsing building," which is makes sense for some reason.
Like it's all coming down around you and can't get out.
Yeah. It has a real like disturbing vibe to it, but I felt the same way about their last two albums. They have that ability to create that like really disturbing and unnerving atmosphere. You know, what it lacks in like flashiness, it you know gives makes up for in the atmosphere. But yeah, it is a phenomenal record. The vocalist is, he kind of reminds me of like a lot of the post-metal or like mathcore vocalists from like the Relapse era. You know, like the early Relapse era, or like that, you know, early 2000s, even like late 90s kind of vocals. They're like tough guy kind of vocals, but then he has the ability to just break out into like black metal highs and deep fucking like caveman growls and shit. And yeah, he's super powerful vocalist. But yeah, I guarantee if I ever saw this band live, I would probably die in the pit, because I would go fucking crazy.
You would be the pit.
So I would be, yeah. People would have to open me up
to revive you.
Yeah. But yeah, going back to like the theme of this album, I would say, you know, listening to it, I got like a sense of grief, existential dread, you know, societal collapse, you know, it gives you all of the feels, which I think that, again, like makes, you know, this style of music interesting when it makes you feel something, right? So, but it's definitely a full album listen. Like it's not like a, you know, they put out some singles and stuff like that, but like, which are really good, but I feel like you have to listen to it in its entirety, because you have to kind of understand and contextualize it, you know? Mm-hmm. But yeah, a lot of people have been comparing it to like Ulcerate or Death Spell Omega, but more hardcore influence, more like, you know, death metal influence. And I mean, it makes sense that the you know, all of the musicians in the band, they all kind of listen to different genres of metal and stuff like that. And but yeah, I think they just did their first North American tour, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they just did. I mean, they are having some issues. They were supposed to do it earlier, but then they had an issue.
I think with cytotoxin or something.
I can't remember.
Or was it cytotoxin? I can't remember.
But I think the first one I think was supposed to be with them.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and then their visas didn't work out. But anyways, they just got off touring the US, and yeah, I would have loved to see them live, but hopefully someday they'll come to Canada or go back to the US and we can go down and see them.
Absolutely. We'll make it happen. Live podcast on the road.
Yeah.
Rhett and James
on the road. Yeah.
Hey, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
Sick. Okay. Cool. My number 4. This is a band that this is definitely not mainstream band. Definitely was not a band that I had suspected that was going to be on my year-end list. But again, it's the beauty of having those new album playlists where it's just you listen to stuff and then you're like, oh shit, I kind of like it. I'm going to explore it more. And I'm glad that we put this one in there. And it is Haxprocess with Beyond What Eyes Can See. These guys are a progressive death metal band. I think they're from Florida. Second full length release, and I think this is probably one of the best progressive metal albums that came out this year. Like you're getting huge Blood Incantation vibes with this song. It's only a 4-song album, but I think it's 45 minutes. So each song is like 11 minutes long. But the way that each song is kind of structured, you could easily break it out into like little EPs or something like that. But it just sounds better when in my opinion, when it's just a longer piece of work. Like going back to the sound, it's just you have like the atmospheric background, you got the little gutturals, you kind of have like the almost medieval / gothic guitar tone, but then also responsible for some killer guitar solos too, which Blood Incantation also does from time to time. I also listened, like after listening to this album for the first time, I listened to their 2023 release. Very similar. So they have been having this sound for, I guess, from day one, but this album seems to be more polished, seems to be more methodical and more intentional with their song structure, and just goes to show that they're going in the right direction musically. At least they're kind of taking inspiration from the other one, another past album. It kind of felt like it was maybe a little bit long and drawn out last time, so I think they were trying to develop, like when they're progressing through songs, making sure that the development is happening at a good speed, especially when you're playing a style of music that kind of feels like a journey in a sense. You don't really want to lose the listener when you're doing it or spend too much time on one part. So I think they took that to heart quite well. It's one of those things where, because it is very long and drawn out, not drawn out in a bad way, it's just you kind of have to rip it front to back. It feels weird if you throw it in a playlist and you play it as a single or something like that. It should just be played in all front to back.
All its glory.
Yep. And another thing musically about this thing is like there's kind of a bit of a thrash component to it as well. Like it's kind of similar to Death in a way, where they incorporate a lot of speed in like progressive elements into the leads, but the vocals seem to be a little bit more dark than what Death is. So it's, in my opinion, that's where kind of it's like a blackened progressive metal, depending on how you look at it. But, and then that way, how everything's kind of layered together. They have like the solos kind of going at one time, and then the way that everything's going, they layer it in such a way where it feels more like an accompaniment and not so much as like a standalone thing. It's just like a thing that's happening in the background and is progressing, not as in everyone else is standing still and stopping and then watch what I'm doing, essentially. So it feels kind of like we're all working together as a team, as opposed to, singling guys out. But I think, like it's one that took me by surprise. Didn't think I was going to add it in, and it's a top 5 album for me for a reason. It's just a great listen. It's creative. It changes each time that I listen to it, and
I'll have to check that one out. Was that Transcending Obscurity as well?
Yeah, it was.
Oh man, I gotta listen to that again. I must have listened to it once, but I don't remember it.
And that's the hard thing with listening to like 25 hours worth of new music. We probably listen to more. It's just like a lot of it kind of all goes by the wayside. You might just hit start and play and kind of pick out ones. So this one, I believe, was like one of the first albums of the day that I had listened to. So I was fresh in my mind and could give it a little bit more attention. So but still a solid release. So it's in my top 5.
Sick. All right, now we're down to the top 3.
Top 3.
Okay, number 3. The same thing. This one came as a surprise. It's actually the first time I've ever heard of this band before. They put out another EP or album prior to this album, which is also phenomenal, but This album for me is just everything that I love about dissonant death metal, black and hardcore. I get like total Converge vibes, but there's also like a Deafheaven element to it where it has like that post black metal shoegazy dreamy atmosphere, and that is Crossbringer with Healismus Aeternus.
Ooh.
Female fronted, female vocalist who is absolutely fucking nasty. Just like, you know, Jacob Bannon, like Jane Doe era Converge. And, you know, a couple spoken word parts that are just haunting. But these guys are all from like different projects. And so this album, and they're from different parts of the world. So this album was written, recorded, and produced between Russia, Cyprus, the US, and Belgium.
Oh, cool.
And it features members of some underground bands such as Euglena, Predatory Void, Downfall of Gaia. And these guys play like a very angular, dissonant, blackened hardcore kind of style, similar to Converge. Like if Converge and Ulcerate were put in a blender and you had this like amazing musical smoothie that came out that you drank. Yeah, it's got some like crusty elements to it, but it's like super well written, really intentional, high pitched guitar riffing, you know, gorgeous blackened shoegaze elements. There's some ambient kind of atmospheric elements to it. It's super like dark, grim. It's well written. It's controlled. It's like devastating. And it's one of those albums that's like, in a band, I feel like that's such a sleeper. And I feel like it could cross like so many genres of music, from like hardcore, screamo, post-hardcore, post-metal, shoegaze, blackened hardcore, like disso death, like you name it. Like it just, but I feel like not enough people are, like I've seen it on a few like little avant-garde kind of Facebook groups and stuff like that, but like it's super underrated. But yeah, it's vicious. Yeah, it's the longer that you sit with it and you listen, every re-listen, again, you hear something different. It gets heavier and heavier every single time. And like this is one that like I want to like get an actual vinyl of, and you know, because I know that it's something that I'm going to enjoy for a long time. So, yeah.
And then you're also supporting the band too, so that's even better.
Yeah, it's super sick.
Huh.
Oh yeah,
solid pick.
Yeah.
Okay, my number 3 was your number 4.
Oh.
And that's Blindfolded and Led to the Woods. The worst part about being God is that no one believes me.
Oh shit!
I know. So, I'll just do the same thing. I'll add what I thought. I think, in my opinion, this is probably the most genre bending band out of at least all of my albums in my top 30. but even just in general, like I remember like looking at it in some forums, it's like, well, where the hell do you place this thing? Like it's
Yeah.
just it's so broad. Like you got stuff of like a little bit of tech death, you got some disso death, you got some black metal parts. There's just like it's a little bit of everything. So it's like, well, where do you fit it in? And like I don't know what besides avant-garde metal, it's like what else do you call this thing? It's in the
Nice
most
little
respectful.
a nice little salad of
Yeah.
of
Nice little
all
caprese salad.
yeah, of all the best parts of different genres of metal.
So it's basically just if Ulcerate kind of bumped up their game a little bit and played a little bit faster and became a little bit darker in their sound, and then added a few things here and there, a few herbs and spices, 11 to be exact. Then secret 11 herbs and spices, and you get Blindfolded.
Yeah.
One thing that I do like is kind of going back to the history of the band. Is kind of amazing, kind of seeing the start of bands and how like these guys were like their stereotypical deathcore band, and then like it flourishes into something that's so mature and majestic in a sense, and it's just it helps to create a stronger identity for them in a scene or in a scene, but in a subgenre that can be so oversaturated. It's just like, do you want to be like a run-of-the-mill deathcore band, or do you want to be like top avant-garde metal band? It's just like it's sure going to be harder to get there, but your recognition and everything is going to be that much better, in my opinion. It can help you stand out. So I think that part is always great. Other thing too is like the use of time on this album is fantastic. There's a lot of songs that are really short, or especially for this genre, like 2-3 minute long songs, and for them to have such range in their sound to be able to create so much intensity and everything and still get their point across in such a short time is really impressive. And I think again, goes to the musicianship and how well they can just organize their material and their sound. Tons of twists and turns, nothing really seems predictable. And it's just, heavy as all get out. So I think after listening to it, it's just basically you turn it off and just say like, what the fuck, man? Like it's just, that's all you can simply do. It's just, it leaves you speechless. You got to listen to it over and over again to try and understand it. You won't. No matter how long or how many times you listen to it, you will never fully understand it. You're always discovering something new. But it's just, I think it's a musical marvel, in my opinion. So just being able to harness so many complex feelings and everything like that about it, it's not easy to do. So give Blindfolded their flowers, man. They put out a sick ass release. So
hell yeah, 100%.
Love it.
Number 2 for me is Cryptopsy, Insatiable Violence.
Nice.
Yeah, man. The Montreal Monsters. Like you mentioned earlier, like most people see this album as Cryptopsy continuing their late career resurgence. You know, the boys are back. This album blends their classical savagery with, much sharper songwriting, probably thanks of the bass player from Cattle Decap. With a little bit more modern production, I would say. Like, sounds kind of similar to the previous album, but just turned up a notch. But yeah, I was also thinking, like, how are they going to top the previous album? And this one is just like grindier than ever. It's like like the riffs are just savage, fast. They're just like playing the absolute fuck out of their instruments, which is like so cool. And it sounds like dangerous, you know. The
Mhm.
vocalist Matt is an absolute machine, and like seeing them live was just like one of my, you know, they've always been a band that I've wanted to see live, and really like exceeded my expectations. His vocal range is like, he's one of the best in the game, hands down.
And still young too. Well, all
Yeah,
relatively speaking.
yeah. But it's not this album is not just like a brutal death album for the sake of being brutal. It's brutality with control. You know, it's like extremely violent and like will definitely fuck you up, but without being like messy or like, you know, like they're just trying to like jam a bunch of riffs in. The drummer Flo is inhuman. He's like a surgical machine when it comes to drumming. He's definitely the best, one of the best brutal death drummers in the game. Yeah, it's ridiculous, but it feels like they've returned to their original Cryptopsy DNA from, you know, the None So Vile days. You know, especially in like the riffs and, you know, like the pacing and stuff like that.
Yeah, the short leads and everything like that,
Yeah,
and the quick turns and
yeah, just a lot of a lot of nostalgia listening to this album, but it also doesn't feel like it's like kind of frozen in time. Like it feels like it's fresh still, but like there's a lot of homage to that 90s era. But yeah, it's a beast, man. Absolutely savage. There's nothing really like revolutionary about this band or album other than they're just like brutally effective at what they do, and incredibly technical, and some of the best musicians in the game, like of all time. You know, so, and the fact that these guys are vets in the scene is just even more impressive. You know, they've been around for so long, and yeah, so they have that discipline, you know. They have that, they know what the fuck is up, they know like what they're doing. You know, and there's a reason why, you know, Cryptopsy is like one of the most well-respected names in metal. You know, I guarantee you bring up Cryptopsy, any metal band, any tech death band, it's like the gods, you know, they're the goats. So
they're on that Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact they're Canadian is even that much better. So
the scene in Montreal is just unreal.
yeah,
like, I'm surprised we have not gone there and seen shows or something, because even the local scene and the underground stuff there is second to none. So obviously for good reason. So
yeah,
but as the kids say these days, they are the unks of the metal world.
Yeah. Aunties.
The unks and the aunties.
Yep.
Okay.
Just don't start saying 6, 7.
No. We didn't do our 6th and 7th favorite albums. We just skipped from. We did two additional number 5s.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. My number 2 was your number 20. And this is the Acacia Strain. You're safe from God here. I had this one up high. It was flat out fantastic. I think this has to be one of their best releases to date, if not their best release, especially after putting out 13 full lengths in like 25 years. To be able to, like, first of all, the consistency is insane.
Yeah.
Second of all, to be able to still keep up with the pace, you are evolving your sound to keep up with the times and stay relevant, yet still doing stuff that you want to do as a band is just amazing. And like, just you got like the metallic hardcore elements, you got some deathcore elements, but not much. You got some dissonant stuff, you got a little bit of black metal in there, tons of atmospheric parts. And my favorite part is just the fact that it's just, I think it's 8 songs that are all 2 to 3 minutes long, and it's just boom, 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 no breaks, no nothing. And then the 14-minute closer at the end, where it's just, you sit back and it's like you just finished an amazing painting, and you're just like you're observing the work that you've done over the course of the first 23 minutes. And you're like, you know what? I can take a step back because I worked so hard and it did something so amazing. I just want to watch everything. And they do such a good job in like the Doom world, because their last 2 albums, like Will Follow and Step Into the Light, were kind of heavily Doom focused. So they're kind of evolving off that, but not doing a full Doom album just in itself. I think it has some of the most creative songwriting and song structures out of everything. It's just like, you got your bone crushing riffs, you got like the groovy and speed laced leads, and like the atmospheric parts too, to kind of make like wonder what the hell is this going on, and like slapping you in the face back and forth. And then you just realize like, oh, I just finished 2 songs. Like we got a whole nother album left to go, man. Like it's just, you're beat to shit. So Vincent's vocals too, the best that I think he's ever done. I don't know what he's doing, if he's eating babies or what he's doing.
Juicing. He's on the juice for sure.
He's got to be juicing hard, man. Because it's just, he's keeping his vocal cords intact. And
adrenochrome.
His pissed off persona is like cutting through like a knife. Still got all of his nihilistic vocals and lyrics and everything. And it's just all the true Acacia Strain fans just love that. It's just that return to form that everyone loves, but with some tweaks here and there. It's just, it's simply fantastic.
Would you say that you're a Strainiac?
I could be a Strainiac from time to time. I Strainiac my back every day. That's what happens when you get old.
Acacia Strain is known for having like a cult following called the Strainiacs, and they have a Facebook
huge Facebook page. Also, I think they might have some of the best merch in the game. They have some sick merch. So, but I think this album is basically like a catalog of their last 25 years of playing music, and it's just all in one album. So I got nothing bad about it. But the only thing that's bad about it was that it's not longer.
Exactly. All
right. That's it for that. And now number one. And I have a weird feeling. I have a weird feeling too. Did we have the same number 1 album?
I think so. Okay, 3, 2, 1. We say it at the same time. Okay.
Are we saying the name of the band? Okay. 3, 2, 1. Imperial Triumphant. Yup.
So Imperial Triumphant, this is their most accessible, which is saying a lot for Imperial Triumphant.
That's exactly what I put on my notes too.
Yeah. Like, yeah, this album is, I put, it feels like you're being crushed by a golden building. You know, it has the themes of like wealth and power, moral rot, urban decay, you know, and all of that, all the typical like, you know, luxurious kind of New York upscale, you know, upper Manhattan kind of vibes to it. Um, but you know, the musicianship is just like masterclass, you know, like Imperial Triumphant. I don't know what the fuck these guys are on, but like some of the most widely praised and, you know, absurdly high level technical musicianship that I think I've ever heard or anybody's ever heard ever, uh, in the genre. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think that anybody can, you know, it's just like a masterclass of technical proficiency.
They're just riding off the New York City high. That's all that they're doing.
Yeah. The way that this album is produced is so like, just has this like speakeasy kind of like smoke filled, you know, like New York kind of underground jazz vibe to it, where it's just like, it's not clear. It's kind of like thick and like smoky, claustrophobic in a sense. But it feels like it's layered to create this like pressure within the album.
It's classy.
Yeah. And it's kind of tongue in cheek in a way. Like it's almost funny because like if you go back and you listen to all of the like older Imperial Triumphant stuff, it's so fucking good, but like it's not for the average metal listener. Like um it's very inaccessible to many people. Like unless you are somebody who either plays this kind of music or you like, you know, you just like are an avid listener of avant-garde technical black metal like we are. And so the fact that people think that this is their most accessible album and that it's like a softened Imperial Triumphant for a broader appeal is hilarious to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's almost laughable in a sense.
They're
It's
like they're in the studio with Cole and Marston,
yeah.
and they're like, "Okay, guys, like we gotta tone it down a notch. Like, let's just tone it down like half a step,
Yeah.
and then they just make the best album of the year. That's all they had to do.
Yeah.
They appeal to a few 100,000 more, 1,000 more people, or whatever.
Yeah.
Just by doing that, it's weird.
But these guys are operating on a totally different like technical plane of musicality. There is obvious heavy jazz influence in their musicianship, from the drumming to the guitars. I love the random like fucking wah-wah pedal, like the psychedelic kind of, I don't know, I don't want to say Pink Floyd vibes, but there's like a psychedelic kind of like funk with like the wah pedal. And yeah, but it works for some reason, you know.
It fits this theme.
It shouldn't work, but it fits. Yeah. It's like it's like being inside of a post-apocalyptic jazz club at the end of the world. Is the best way I can describe it.
It's pretty much all it is. And the one thing I'd add to that is I described in my notes here as like the riffs being off kilter and skronky. They have skronky riffs similar to Puron. And that's the
yeah,
only way that I can describe it. It's just if Puron had a bit more avant-garde in their sound.
yeah,
It's one of those things where it's you create new words to describe Imperial Triumphant albums.
yeah.
Like they
That's
just put it
strong.
out there and then they just like, you know what, you figure the fuck out.
Yeah,
We'll just make it.
yeah. It's if Artificial Brain had decadence, like, you know, it has that vibe, but somehow more accessible. But I just laugh, like, every time somebody says accessible when they mention this band, it's like, come on. Like,
Accessible means you're going up to your 60-year-old uncle who is a
yeah,
metalhead and he like listens to like Metallica and everything
yeah,
and be like, have you heard the new Imperial Triumphant record? And he's like, oh
yeah,
yeah, I have. It's like my favorite
yeah.
album this year. That's
Goldstar.
accessible.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that's accessible.
yeah.
Like the amount of
I
people in
love
this province that be listening to this music would be like count on two hands.
I love the like the samples. Like they made all of the samples. Like they hired backup vocalists to do like the Goldstar, like the smoking commercial like type, like, yeah, like the old style 50s 60s cigarette commercial ad or whatever. And it's so good. um Feels like, oh, okay, this is what it feels like. It feels like it's coming through. It feels like you're listening to scronky technical black metal through like an old radio.
Yeah.
You know, it has kind of like that old radio quality, you know,
Which
like
I don't know
grandma's
what they
radio.
did. Like what they
Yeah,
did.
yeah,
Like I wouldn't be surprised because I think this was the last album that Colin Marston produced in Marston Studios in New York City. But either before he was making a new one or he was calling it quits. I can't remember. So I bet you he is through like all the tools of the tool chest and be like, this is the last time I'm going to use it. We'll just throw this shit in here, throw that shit in there, and just make it whatever.
yeah,
A soup of some kind.
yeah.
And it turned out amazing.
So you're saying it's a Christmas album? Okay.
It is a Christmas album. I want to
Yeah.
I want to listen to this album while staring at the tree in Rockefeller Square and
Yeah.
being like, this is Christmas. Imperial
Yeah.
Triumphant Christmas.
Yeah, dressed up in robes with a gold mask.
That's what I want under the tree on Christmas.
Yeah,
But
we should do a trip to New York City and like make our own Imperial Triumphant costumes and walk around. Oh, I got a better idea.
Ooh,
New York Comic Con.
there we go.
We'll go with Kyle. We'll do a 3-way man trip, and we'll because there's cosplayers at New York Comic Con. We'll cosplay as Imperial Triumphant. Then we'll walk around town at night. And when I say town, like downtown Manhattan.
And
we'll
let's
just
see
go-
if anybody
go
recognizes.
Go grab a cocktail or something.
There we go.
Yeah.
Now you're talking.
Yeah.
But
That's awesome.
it is such a good album. Like I think from the second, at least I heard it, it was just it's number one for me. It's so
It's just
good.
fun.
There's nothing else like it. It's awesome, man. That's all I can say.
Yeah. It's just it's fun. And it's awesome.
Okay.
I'm glad that great minds think alike here.
Absolutely. I like how we had some we had some overlap. We didn't have some overlap, but that's the beauty of having opinions, right?
Yeah.
So pretty sick.
All right. Thanks so much, everybody, for checking out our Album of the Year list for 2025. Look forward to more content on this channel, and hit the subscribe, hit the share it with grandma, share it with your friends. Sharing is caring.
And don't forget, we're making the Christmas playlist. It'll be linked in the description.
2026. Yeah. Anthems that you can blast at your next office Christmas party.
And at your quinceanera. Or your brie.
Yeah.
Or your brie or your bris.
Yeah. I brought a playlist to the circumcision. Can you play Imperial Triumphant?
That's fitting.
Yeah.
Oh.
That would actually work.
I think so. This goes with the vibe. Everyone who asks.
Yeah.
Oh God.
All right. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Keep it real heavy.
You stay hard and stay metal.
Stay hard, stay metal. Talk to you later. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.